Okay, welcome back. So let's re-familiarize ourselves with what's going on here, because it's been a couple of months in real life since the previous episode was recorded. And the reason for that is my last PC actually broke between the previous episode and now. So I had to just completely from scratch build a new PC, get all the parts, attempt to save the campaign save file, which you can see I have managed to rescue. The good news is this is a better PC than the last one, so the graphics may be very slightly better, although YouTube compression will probably ruin it. But in theory, the graphics should be very slightly better. And yeah, we should be good to go. We should be good to just keep recording. My new graphics card is only a little bit better than my last one, so it's not really like a great graphics card, but I'm going to upgrade it in a year or so. Anyway, so the campaign itself, what's going on? We've got this kind of northern frontier, which I'm probably going to send this guy into the wilderness, because now that we've finished off Macedon, we're good just to push on towards Thrace, I think. The alternative would be to kind of ignore Thrace and push to the west, but the problem with that is we have two frontline towns with Thrace, which would be Lazora and Byzantium, and there's a good chance that Thrace would just attack us. We've already seen them attempting to attack Dacia, so they could just attack us instead, and they probably will if we leave our border towns undefended. So better if we just attack them first. That's going to be fairly straightforward, I think. I don't think they're going to be too strong. We did manage to take Byzantium in the first few turns of the campaign, which is usually their go-to town. That's kind of how they get going. So having stopped them from taking that, I'm not really sure they can do very much to us. Unfortunately, I don't really have a scout. I do have one in this town, but or a spy even. He's not going to be able to see too much, I think. We can go up to there, we might just about be able to see this town, or we can go to the east, and I think there's a town somewhere around here, which again, I don't think we're going to get close enough, so I'm actually going to send him up in this direction, because I don't know if I'm thinking of the same campaign, it was such a long time ago, but I feel like we did see Thrace besieging this, and I want to see how that turned out. We can see a Thracian force here, it's pretty weak. So if we step into their lands and there's something scary there, we haven't actually declared war on them yet. They're not going to like us, but it's not going to be the end of the world, so let's take the risk. Okay, so we've made it to Tylis, and Tylis is borderline undefended, so unless there's something lurking in the shadows, this looks very promising. Okay, so that's the northern frontier. We're going to also push out with this guy. We're going to retrain some units in Bilazora, and that's pretty much it for there. Over here we've got a few units of armoured hoplites who need to go back to Sparta and retrain. I'm not sure why I've not moved closer already, but let's just go a little bit closer. Get them retrained next turn. These guys, or this guy even, I think I'll probably send back to the south, back towards Sparta, and he can kind of join those and go west with them. I think that's the best thing to do. He's pretty bad, I think. But yeah, 1 command, 0 influence, 0 management. 30 years old. Bit of a failure, but he's still got potentially a long life ahead of him, so we'll try not to judge. Kydonia should be fine with just 240 peasants. This guy needs a transport, so we'll send these up next turn. Over here in the east, we're kind of steamrolling both the Seleucid Empire and Pontus at the same time. It all seems very positive. We're going to send our faction leader to the east, because the next two towns we need to take on are these two, and it's quite some distance. I don't think there's anything to the south, as far as I can remember. We do just have this very long column of territory, and it's all ours. What we should do, though, is we should throw up a watchtower, just so we can see a little bit more of what's going on. So we can see a Seleucid force. It's pretty weak, just the one unit. That should be completely fine. I'm going to send these guys to rest in here. These guys are on their way to join up. This place is training some peasants, which is good. Over in this town, we've got some hoplites. Let's send them to the east. A couple of units of hoplites here as well. Let's move them to the east as well. And let's just keep the hoplites coming. So the main thing I'm not familiar with is what I'm actually constructing. I can't really remember that. So before we move on to that, this is by far the most problematic area in this campaign. We've been just about holding off the combined might of the Romans, not the Julii, but the other two. Both of them have tried to have a go at us. We've kind of turned it around, but I don't really think a force of just hoplites going up against this is going to have a great time, because we want to have all these forces together. If they're both coming in from opposite sides of the field, I'm not convinced it's going to work out, so I'm probably not going to go for that, but in this town I definitely want to keep upgrading things. So, large Temple of Nike. That seems like the obvious one to go for, let's just build it. So we still got 9k left in the bank, we definitely want to keep building armoured hoplites anywhere we can. And with this new patch, it should be pretty easy to just go through all the different towns and just upgrade things, because the UI is slightly better now. So let's have a look. So Athens, I'm sure I got a comment, somebody told me, and this was a long time ago now, somebody said that I shouldn't be building archery ranges and stuff like that. I don't really agree with that, and the reason is just relying on mercenaries, which I think was the point of the suggestion, is that the mercenary units are going to be better than anything we can actually recruit as Greece. I don't really agree with that, because I think if we just produce from all of our towns, we're going to become so infantry heavy that we will reach the point where an extra unit of armoured hoplites will actually be less useful to us than just a basic unit of archers. So I'm fairly happy for Athens to specialise in archers. We also get siege too. So an archery range is definitely tempting, although I have just spotted large mines. That's also very tempting. Going to be a definite boost to our income. And it's not too expensive, so let's just do it. Well, it's pretty expensive, but it's worth it. Over in this town, we can build, again, large mines. I'm not sure we want to go too heavy on the large mines, but yeah, the main thing is in Syracuse, I just want to get an extra unit of armoured hoplites. And at that point, I think we've just about tipped the balance in our favour against this fight against the Brutii. So that's going to be the plan. And yeah, I don't think there's too much else to be doing except recruitment and building, so let's see what else we can do. I'm going to focus on frontline towns. Obviously this town is very important, it's our capital. So anything we can do here is going to be worthwhile. Communal farming I think should be fine. It's our capital, so if the population booms, that's not going to be a massive problem. Basic mines in Pergamum. So this is actually better than it appears, because I believe, and I'm not too familiar with the kind of trade mechanics, so I'm not gonna dwell on this for too long, but I believe it adds not just the plus 200 income, but also actually different types of imports or different types of exports. So it's 200, and then it's a bit more as well because it enhances your trade. So basic mines, always worth going for. Large mines, not necessarily. So let's focus on actually useful units. So this place is already busy, this place is busy. The towns here are not too useful in terms of what they can recruit, but just picking up extra ships is probably worthwhile. Also frees up these guys so we can send them in a completely different direction. Then we just got 900 left. Let's just see what we can spend them on. So if we look for mercenaries, we have got some range units and some basic Thracian mercenaries. This is not the best force, but I think getting a few more Thracians in, yeah, does make sense, because even though they're really bad units, they're not going to hurt, and that also gets us a mercenary captain, which is going to be +1 command. So he is shaping up to be a little bit better. Okay, so I'm still going to have 15k coming in next turn. This place is busy. I think that's pretty much everywhere busy. And everything has moved, so let's just end the turn, let's see what happens. Forgot about the diplomat, but doesn't really matter too much. Oh, great. Okay, so Carthage is back. They besieged us. Yeah, we cannot catch a break on that side of the map. Other than that, things are going fine, but yeah, that's not good. Okay, this guy, 1 command, 1 management, 19 years old. Definitely up for that. Let's do it. Let's see where he is. So he's popped up in Sparta. Yeah, I actually did forget to move this guy, which might be a good thing, because he might be more useful somewhere else. So we've got this ship here. This is going to go to Sparta. We're going to drop the units off. Send them in and retrain them. Pick up one more of these. Retrain all of these. And think of these two. We could take our chances with a 19-year-old and just use him as our kind of leader in the west, because we don't currently have a family member over here. So let's see what these guys actually have. So this is Bomukar, who's a 20-year-old general, so probably not hugely important, although he's got a bodyguard of 48, which isn't terrible. Skirmishes, can't really see what he has, but this is part of the game, it does let you do this. So we can see what they have. Town Militia, Round Shield Cav. Pretty basic. So then we can withdraw. And this should be easier to take on than this, because we have two generals here, which is really the main problem. These guys just have the one. I think we give this a go. Okay, so yeah, it's considered to be massively in our favour. He does want to take the fight against us. This is quite annoying, but if we win, we should just be able to retrain all of these, so let's go for it. Looks like they're coming straight for us. Thought they'd be a bit more hesitant. Yeah, this clearly looks a lot nicer on my screen, but not sure if I trust the YouTube compression to make it the same on the other end, unfortunately. So we've got some very isolated armoured hoplites, but I think I will just try and run them in. Peasants, obviously, we don't really need to involve. Probably best if we don't. So they're spreading out, they're not going too aggressive. I have noticed this on the kind of test battle I was doing, just to check the recording worked okay. They seem to do this thing now. I don't remember them doing this before, where they do actually split their forces into two. Take on the two different sides. Obviously this is not looking too good on this side, but on this side, basic Iberian infantry against a lot of phalanxes. Let's just move in, we should be fine. Send these guys around the side. And yeah, they are going defensive now, so we should be okay. That should work, it's not perfect, but it's not too bad. Yeah, they're going really defensive, which means hopefully we have time to really structure this. I don't like the look of this. Let's at least go a bit less thin, in case we do get charged. Then again, it is just round shield cav. The actual general is over on this side, which is probably where we want him, because that's the bulk of our forces. Let's have a look. So yeah, they've got some skirmishes. They shouldn't do too much to armoured hoplites. Armoured hoplites, very much an elite unit when it comes to resisting projectiles. These guys are almost in position. Let's just speed this up a bit. If they make a move, that's fine. Slow it down. Yeah, so they're going to throw a few volleys at us. We will take some losses, but is there any point trying to go in? Probably. They are pretty weak. Let's move towards them. So yeah, we do get to do a nice surround on this side. Okay, probably time to make the push. They're starting to kind of move around a bit. I'm just going to push into them. Let's go for it. This is probably going to go very disorganized very quickly, but they're on the worst end of it. These guys are not going to take this fight well. Some of our units being caught out on the flank, but they are going to rout really quickly as they do. Our armoured hoplites are moving in on this side. This is looking like a bit of a surround. They've kind of wasted their skirmishes on us, which is good, but this side is going to be a lot worse. And in fact, looks like the general might be coming in too, which would be a bit of an issue. No, I think they're just withdrawing. These guys are still holding out. Are they facing the right way? Yes, they are. Perfect. And yeah, we would have taken a lot more losses, but obviously pretty elite units, so that's all fine. And we pretty much already won this fight, so let's take everyone off phalanx mode and let's start running them down. General turns around, that could be a problem, but in the meantime, just try and get some kills. Yeah, so we're able to swallow up some of these Iberian infantry, but most of them, unfortunately, are going to get away.
enemy army is in flight! Pursue! Gods be praised! This victory surely they were.
Okay, so that's really promising, and we actually took so few losses that I'd be really tempted to make a move on the Romans. But the fact that they didn't assault our town... Oh, this is even more tempting. So we got a man of the hour. This is exactly what we need on this side. 3 command, 1 management, 21 years old. Perfect. Let's see his traits. So yeah, pretty basic really, but definitely very good general. Exactly where we need him. So let's have these guys join us, and let's move towards these. So they actually do want to take us on, and this still scares me a bit because these guys in particular, the Factionaire, 84 men, really elite unit. Gonna have to just go for it. Okay, so yeah, I think they're doing it again. They're splitting into 2. On this side we've got 1 general. The thing we need to look out for is the 2nd general, Aulus Brutus. He's also facing us on this side, so that's great. Let's move in. I'm gonna try not to charge because I want to make sure I'm in phalanx formation when we actually meet them. Our hoplite elites are on the flank, which is probably where we want them. Over on this side we've got 3 units of basic hoplites. They've got some equites, velites, peltasts, war dogs. Have they actually got no melee units? No melee units. Okay, so we should actually charge that. Yeah, not the best units to charge this, and I think it's uphill too. Yeah, it's uphill as well, actually. That's fairly even ground. That should be okay. Yeah, we're going to try and charge into them. I'm going to try not to allow them to fire on me for too long. Might as well go bait them a bit. Meanwhile, over on this side, they're staying pretty defensive, which is good. All of our units have reached a pretty good position. Let's just move these around a bit. Move these guys forward. Okay, so let's see. They've got velites. They've already taken a few of us out. Over on this side. Currently holding their position. Okay, so they're actually engaging us. Let's make sure we drop the phalanx. I'm surprised by this. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. There we go. Okay, so we scared off the equites. Over on this side, they've decided to run into us, I think. Yeah, but again, Velite is not good for melee, so we handle that completely fine. They are now coming towards us with Hastati, but it's probably a bit too late for them. Coming in on their own. But we have got some equites charging us. Let's put down the phalanx. I'm not sure this is going to be enough. And the general is threatening to turn around too. Over on this side, the equites are routing straight into us. We're going to have to move towards them because they are successfully moving away from us. And how did this happen? I'm not sure how they managed to get that isolated. I must have put them in the wrong place. But yeah, they don't survive that, unfortunately. Okay, let's move everyone in, as the general is now moving in towards all of these units. Bit scared by this, but it is the weaker general, so it might be okay. Just gonna take these guys into melee. Yeah, that looks pretty bad, actually. On this side, we've pretty much lost that unit. The equites are routing, so that's okay. Not gonna worry about that. Our general, I probably should send my general in. These guys are coming in, they're just militia hoplites, so they're not going to do a great job. As yeah, there's a bit of a rout going on that side, which isn't good. Need to bait these guys into attacking us. Don't want to lose the general, he is on the left flank. Have to be a bit careful with that. They keep moving away. Okay, let's see how it goes on this side. So they've still got the Hastati left. Roman general, still pretty healthy. and they are starting to surround us a bit. Okay, so got to keep these guys moving in. Yeah, this is the annoying thing about hoplites, is they're just not very maneuverable. So they can just move away from us. We can take ourselves out of phalanx formation, but that doesn't tend to go too well. Unless you're very quick to go back into it. Okay, so the reinforcements have kind of failed now at this point. Probably just have to accept we're going to lose most of them and focus on keeping these guys together. We're slowly pushing them towards the edge of the map. You know what? Let's take them out of phalanx formation and let's run them in. We're going to push them right to the edge. Here we go, so these guys are actually coming in, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, so they're starting to regroup. They've got some equites coming to charge us, I think, although they'll probably turn back once we drop our spears. Nope, they're actually going into it. That's a very stupid move by the AI, and goes very predictably. Okay, here we go. They're coming in with the Hastati. Pretty isolated, should be able to just push straight through them. The big threat, of course, is the two generals.
This turn of events may make them lose heart.
Yeah, pretty much accepted the complete loss of everything on that side. These guys are being chased by... Is that like one guy? Hang on a minute. Here comes the generals. Yeah, they're being chased by like two guys. Alright, so first general's coming in there. Let's move our general round and probably just have to charge them because they are going in for these guys. Bit of a bad contact there. Okay, but it is our armoured hoplites in this flank, which should be able to handle that completely fine. You guys just move in towards these. You guys towards these. Okay, so armoured hoplites. Been hit from the back, but positive development on that side. These guys are down to 41. They started off with about 89, so that's good. Wiped out their general, and Hastati's starting to move away. Need to be a bit careful of my general. Can't really see him. Hopefully he's not at the front there. Let's pull these guys back. Okay, let's move in. Let's go for the attack. Yeah, so we got a lot of skirmishers. We probably need to keep the general nice and healthy for that, because these are not going to be great at charging them down. Okay, so some Hastati have got behind us there. Gonna have to just turn around and face them, as I think they're going for a surround. Gonna have to send the general in because no one else is gonna get there in time. Yeah, that's pretty bad. You guys need to come back. General's on his way in, but he's not going too quickly. Have managed to scare off the Hastati on that side. Here we go for the charge. We do manage to pretty much finish off Aulus Brutus. Don't know if the man himself is dead, but the Hastati are fleeing too. Let's run them down. Let's run these down with the general, and let's take the other two units, take them out of phalanx position, and let's run down the fleeing Hastati. As that is pretty much everything that's going on. There is this one... That's actually a really good thing. The fact that that Velite, that unit of two Velites, two individual soldiers, managed to actually chase these guys across the field. That's really good because that entire force just completely melted. And because these guys were off in some irrelevant location, they've actually come out of that pretty healthy. And they're mercenaries too, which means we can't retrain them. That was kind of a blessing in disguise. Alright, well there's no one else who can really do anything, and as far as I can tell, they've not really got anything left, so let's just speed this up. Let's mop up as many units as we can. I think that's pretty much all of them, just these guys left. Cool, okay, so that went pretty well. Not as well as the Carthage fight, because the reinforcements did get destroyed, but all in all, not bad, and hopefully we've killed enough of them that we've taken out both of the family members. They actually got more kills than us, but that's fine. Like, they're generals' bodyguards, multiple of them. Yeah. Yeah, there's no army in there, so that's good too. Okay, so Messana and Syracuse both liberated. This place needs some more units. So what can we retrain? None of these guys are going to be able to make it back to the other town. So let's do some retraining in this town. Can't really do too much with this. Yeah, we're going to need to be able to retrain those hoplites, so I'm going to get a militia barracks over here. Over on this side, we've got an alliance between Parthia and Armenia. Retinue expands, I'm not sure who this guy is. Ah, it's the diplomat we forgot about. Can't remember if I've spoken to these guys. No trade rights. Alright, let's try and get some money. Let's go for 1500.
Regretfully, we must decline.
Never know what to think of that. When they say that the offer is too generous and they can't accept it, that always comes across a bit strange. Let's just go for... There we go, we do get that one. Okay, so I'm going to offer them map information and I'm going to try just asking for 900.
Regretfully, we must decline.
Yeah, I really hate it when they do this. Like, do they actually think I'm being too generous? Because I'm not convinced. If I drop the price... There we go, so I wasn't being too generous, they were just being two-faced. That really annoys me. Anyway, there's not too much in this direction. There's Parthia way off to the east. But, yeah, I don't really see what else we can do with this guy. Okay, so what else is going on? We've been besieged in Messana, Syracuse, we know about all of that. This town has expanded. Whenever a town expands, always just get the upgrade as soon as possible because public order starts dropping like a stone. And if you forget to upgrade, you're going to run into real problems. Okay, so I believe there's nothing in the south here, but I am going to move along the south coast just to double check. As yeah, seems pretty safe. This guy has moved in this direction, which is kind of annoying. Because I want to move these guys to the east. Just check all of this stuff. So we've successfully built quite a few buildings. We'll come back to that later. We're actually making less money than last term, but that's fine. So this is going to be a general's bodyguard, which is going to be a cav unit with javelins. He shouldn't be able to take our town. If we get a second unit of militia hoplites... Well, firstly, he can't besiege a town anyway, because if he does, the only thing he can do is starve it out, because he's not going to be able to build rams. The problem is he can do that to this town as well. So yeah, let's actually retrain those. I'm going to take all these units, and I'm just going to completely ignore this. See who this is. So there's a rebel there. He shouldn't really bother us if we just go past him. But that does block off that path, so let's go this way instead. Okay, and that pretty much means this guy should probably go to the south. He doesn't have any ranged units, so let's try and join these up. Okay, so apparently it's faster for him to go this way too. Let's go for these. Push them away. And we've got some rebels blocking us, so let's push them too. Okay, so a slightly bigger force there. Again, we don't have any range units, so I'm just going to wait here instead. Okay, so this guy's got a decorated hero, which is a 20% discount on unit training. That's pretty good. Actually, make sure we use that. So we're already recruiting a unit there. It's just basic hoplites, but still. And got a runner. Same guy. +1 command. Yep, so he's up to 4 commands, so he's actually looking really good. 21 years old. Already looking really good to go for a full push on the Romans. We do, of course, have Carthage as well. They're becoming really annoying, but I do want to prioritize taking out the Romans, I think, although the Carthaginians are much smaller, much easier target. I can try and go for both at the same time, but we're going to need to use these forces and get them over as soon as possible. And honestly, I don't think we really need this guy to move to the north, so let's move him in this direction too. And let's have these ships join up to these. I'm not allowed to do that, unfortunately.
Ships ready! Ships
we do it this way? Yes, we can. Okay, so that's an extra command star for them too, and these ships are probably fine. It's probably more useful if we take them towards the Romans, if anything. As good as it would be to take Cyprus, it's not really going to help us that much. So let's keep these guys just here in Rhodes, just in case, and let's just keep moving everyone along. So these guys... We could go after this general. He's not going to take 2 units of hoplites too well. Let's give it a go. And then these guys... Should we do this? Let's move this first. Let's see what's going on. So the Thracians have not taken that town. If we go to the east, we can see a couple of forces. They're both pretty small. So this should be okay. So they've actually picked up a unit of militia cav. That should be fine. Let's just pick up any mercenaries we can. And in this town... Not too many options, really. Probably not going to help us too much, so let's just get some more peasants, just to keep the public order going. This town is nice and refreshed, so let's move. Could move towards Dacia too. Depends if we think this is enough to take the Thracian capital. It is pretty weak, but if it does go wrong, we can just move to the east. Not going to declare on them just yet, but we will move in this direction. And these guys could go to the east. That should be fine. We should probably take a couple of extra peltasts for them, but we'll do that next turn. Okay, so another war begins. That's all completely fine. Let's see. So this town has a couple of units of hoplites we can move. Move them towards Sparta to join the force to invade Italy, and maybe paved roads would be pretty useful actually. This town is right in the middle of everything, so let's just do it. Elsewhere, let's have a look. So let's open up the settlement scroll. Let's just go through. So Apollonia is not too useful. Roads are super cheap though, so let's just go for it. Over on this side we've got Corinth. Corinth is... Let's see actually, what can we recruit? So Corinth is just not too useful when it comes to recruiting units. Better to focus it on economy, and there's not too much we can do with that, so let's not focus on it for now. Thessalonica can get large mines, let's go for it. Sardis can get large mines, and that leaves us with no money, so we're not really recruiting many units. Perhaps I should. We're getting armoured hoplites here, and we're getting some here too. That's really the main thing I care about. We can get some in Thessalonica. We can just find ourselves a bit of extra money. And some of these towns don't look too happy, so let's actually check that out. Okay, so this town's 65%. The new unit of armoured hoplites should be able to deal with that, that's fine. This one's 50%, so let's just try and recruit some peasants if possible. It's not going to work. Alright, we're going to have to move some up. Actually got 2 units of armoured hoplites. We should move both of those up. Thessalonica might not be too happy, but we really don't need those units there. This place has 80% public order, that's not a problem. Okay, so that's all of our money spent. Our main units have been moved. These guys are recovering, and that I think is just about everything. I might have forgotten something, but let's just end the turn. So Carthage staying quiet for now, licking their wounds. This guy does actually besiege our town. That's fine. We'll just drive him off with a couple of hoplites. Thracians I don't think have gone yet, but let's see what they do. Oh, okay. Okay, so there is actually a big Pontus force there. That was actually pretty scary looking. Can this guy get out? We should probably combine our forces for that. And we definitely want to bring these up. Okay, so that does reveal them. Let's see what they have. I think they took a lot of losses because I'm sure they had a bigger stack than that. Then they took on the rebels. I'm guessing it didn't go too well. So perhaps we can just use these. We'll take them next turn, and then these guys just going to focus on moving towards the next town. So let's see what they have. So 3 units of militia hoplites. Don't really want to take them on, but I need them out of the way, so let's just go for it. Massively in our favor. This stuff can all be retrained. Let's just go ahead and auto-resolve. Took 90 losses, that's kind of bad, but whatever. Okay, so we'll take on this town next. It's got a faction leader in it, so that's going to be pretty tough, but we've got our own faction leader. He's got a ton of command, so he should be okay. Let's also check out the mercenaries, just in case there's something new, which there isn't. Okay, so once again, lots going on. Let's just ignore all of this. Can't really be bothered with it. Town has grown. That's Larissa. Again, just queue it up so you don't have to think about it. Faction announcements, new family member, and an alliance between Scythia and Dacia. That's kind of a problem because I actually really don't want to take on Scythia at all. I really don't, because they're horse archers. We just have no options for them other than Cretan archers, but those are few and far between, so don't like the idea of that. This one should just be an auto-resolve, although what I will actually do is I'm going to step my Cretans away, because I really don't want to lose any. We shouldn't need them. I am going to auto-resolve this, because it's just not worth taking. We take 200 losses, that's fine. We got a town for that. There's quite a big population, which we could exterminate. I think we should be okay to occupy this one, because we don't necessarily need to move this force out at all. And ultimately, even though exterminating does get you a lot of money, it's really quite short-term focused. It's long-term, it's good for public order, but it's also not actually that good for your economy, because of course a big population is going to be paying taxes. So we got Peltas, we can actually get triremes here, which is pretty good. Overall, this is not going to help us too much. Let's see what we can do. So we can repair this, repair this. It's not got any mines. So I want to be able to recruit some kind of hoplites, but militia hoplites not really going to help us anyway, so let's just build some mines. And then over here, we've probably annoyed the Dacians a bit. Yeah, I don't really want to fight them. So I think we'll just move in this direction. That's with both of our forces. And this guy will go towards their capital, which looks pretty undefended. And then they've also got a general here, and who's this guy? Factionaire, 21 years old. Yeah, Thrace not doing too well. Should be a pretty easy target. Makes a change for the very, very few of you who might have seen my Scipii campaign. I think Thrace might have been the toughest opponent in that whole campaign. They just got crazy strong, but I think if you cut off Byzantium, just completely kills off their ability to snowball. So yeah, looking pretty easy there. Alright, so this guy should be fine to take on. Let's just move these up, and let's send these guys in too. That scares him off. Let's fuse these together. And that's as far as we can go. Okay, so maybe we can chase him down next turn, that's fine. Alright, so in this town we're continuing to recruit hoplites. Let's keep doing that. Let's get the large mines. It's nice and simple. It spends the money. I'm not going to overthink it. Okay, so we're gonna, in this town, go for one more turn of training up hoplites. We're gonna retrain these two. And then next turn, we're gonna go for it. This is winnable, let's go for it. Okay, so we sink that fleet, and could go scout ahead. Let's do it. So we'll go up to that, and I think we'll just retrain these. And we'll get another one. Okay, so we're coming over with massive naval firepower and also a lot of very elite units, so that should be all pretty easy to do. This spire we're going to move to the east, and I think that's pretty much everything we need to do. We could recruit a few more armoured hoplites. Let's get one here. Although, we do have the option of Greek cav, which we don't have too many of, and armoured hoplites are going to take a long time to catch up, so let's just get some Greek cav. Over here, we're very happy. Let's take them up to very high tax rate. And then back in Sparta, we're already recruiting. In Syracuse, want some more armed hoplites. And then in Messana, just going to go for some Peltas, but I'm going to take all of these units, and we're going to send them back to Syracuse to retrain. Okay, that's all of our money gone. We've got a few units we've not retrained. I don't think that's a massive problem. Let's focus on the armoured hoplites as a priority. And let's just retrain one more. Okay, so once all of those are retrained, we'll probably go to the west and just fully unite Sicily, take Carthage out of the island, and then we can finally kind of turn our focus to either the Romans or the Carthaginians. Perhaps what we'll do is we'll take this force and take it to Carthage, and then this force we're just going to land on the Italian mainland. But yeah, I think we've got things off to a pretty good start again, and the momentum is very much still in our favour, so let's leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.